Okay, we are live. Welcome to Tidbits and Scribbles. Bear with me here while I learn new skills like this one.
Yay!
I know, little things, guys, little things. All right, but tonight I thought we'd talk about different platforms to sell your books on and maybe format and maybe print your books on, because Amazon has been such a butt lately to most people. Even our own Cindy Kep was hit by it. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Saw that. Yeah.
Yes, books that people had bought 2 or 3 years ago, they returned them. So not only is she out money, now I don't know Cindy's situation, but not only is the author out money, but some of these authors that are getting these back, they're getting them back for errors in the book that don't exist.
Yeah.
And so when they give it back to Amazon and they say, no, I've gone through this, there's nothing there, Amazon says, no, you can't upload that because that's the same file. You have to upload a new file. And of course, there's nothing to fix. So how do you upload a new file with nothing to fix?
Yeah.
So then if it happens too much, Amazon will take that book down completely and they will not let them sell that book. So we got to find alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what caused all this, Michaela?
I don't know what caused it. Oh, well, a TikTok challenge is what I heard.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that was the story I heard 2 years ago when it started.
Same here.
Somebody was being a prima donna on his own TikTok channel, or her own. I never got the gender straight. And they were upset that they were being upstaged by different authors doing stuff promoting their books on TikTok.
Okay.
And then came up with this bright idea. Hey, let's just turn everything back into Amazon and really hit these rich, successful writers in the pocketbook where it hurts.
Yeah.
Ignorant enough to know that there are no such thing as rich, successful writers unless they sell your book in an airport, you know?
Well,
You got to have
especially
that
if you're on TikTok.
Yeah, the same people who gave us the milk crate challenge too. So
Yes. What were you going to say, Brian?
Well, I was going to say this kind of mirrors a situation from about a year ago concerning audiobooks and Amazon. Same thing was happening. That Amazon did not specify. Like with most contracts, you've got a certain amount of time in which you can change your mind, like 3 days for most sales contracts, in case you get buyer's remorse. Well, they didn't put anything like that in for their audiobooks. So suddenly people who might have sold $200 worth of audiobooks in a month, suddenly they are being told you owe us $200 because people were holding on to these things for a year or more. And then all of a sudden, start trading, moving them, trading them back in, getting that credit. And what they did was the authors pushed back, and they got that policy changed. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot better. And I'm astonished that, and one part of me is astonished, and the other part is like, figures, it's Amazon, that they have not thought it through and done the same thing for the paperback versions and probably the electronic side of their publishing empire. And I think that needs to change. I think we as authors need to push back on that.
Well, and speak with your dollars. Speak with where you're publishing. You don't have to publish just on one platform.
Exactly.
Well, it's handy. Yeah, it's the biggest one out there. But that can change on a dime if we don't publish there.
Right. Exactly. And places like Ingram Spark can place your book on Amazon for you. And I think there are others like Draft to Digital can do it as well.
I use Draft to Digital.
Yeah.
And the only hiccup there is with Draft to Digital, you have to list to Amazon separately. It's no big deal. It's just another step. They'll list to everybody else, but you have to list to Amazon separately.
Yeah.
And they'll even, just like Amazon, they'll even give you ISBN numbers if that's something that you are interested in.
Yeah.
And of course, the ISBN number, buying it yourself or getting it from Amazon or Draft to Digital, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah. And I've got a firm opinion on that one too. So I'm not real shy about.
That's okay.
Don't do it. Anyway.
That's all right. But Carl, you know about Lulu.
Yes.
Yes. So can you give us the rundown on Lulu?
Lulu says we are a print on demand. We do not give refunds. Okay. So if there was a problem with a book, let's say it was misprinted, that usually doesn't happen, but if it is misprinted, they will replace it. But there's no refunds.
Okay.
So as an author, I'm like, good, because that's that's how it should be. You don't need to read a book and then turn it back in and say, oh, I didn't like the ending or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That happens when you buy a book from a store. You can't go back and say, I didn't like the ending. I mean,
or I didn't like the plot line, or
I never got around to reading it.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
It's just
you don't go to a theater and watch a movie and 6 months later demand your money back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, on Brian's show today, I likened it to going to a restaurant. You take one bite of your food and you say, "Oh my God, this is not what I ordered, or this is terrible. Make me a new meal." You don't eat the whole meal and then say, "I didn't like that. I want my money back." You're not going to get it. One or two bites, you can tell. Oh no, this has got salt in it.
Get me
I said no salt. And they'll take care of it. But no, not after you eat the whole meal. And a book is kind of like a meal. I mean, once you've had it, you don't get your money back. Now, you may not buy that author again if you don't like them, but So, and Lulu does. You can be on Amazon. We've got 3 books on Amazon right now, and on Barnes and Noble. So, I mean, I'm really pretty happy with Lulu. I really wish they'd redo their cover design a little bit, but other than that, I really have no complaints.
Okay. Now, does it cost to be on there?
No cost.
I know, like Ingram Spark, there's a fee, isn't there?
There is an upload fee, but if you upload your ebook and your physical book at the same time, it's the same price.
Yeah.
And if you're good and pure of heart, there is always a free code that they will allow you. And also, if you participate in NaNoWriMo, one of the one of the awards that you get if you succeed is a free upload on Ingram Spark, and it has a very generous deadline on it. I mean, it's not going to be hanging around forever, but I don't remember what it was, because I have succeeded once at NaNoWriMo, but it was something like it was very generous. I could have gone ahead and published and gone through the whole editorial process, etc., and even dragged my heels, and I'd still get that discount. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, I looked them up today. I just did a brief. I only had time to just check them out, like their front page, and I wrote down $49 per book is what Amazon Ingram Spark is running right now.
Yep.
And it was, like you said, it was if you upload just your ebook or just your print book. It made more sense to do both at the same time because it was $49.
Yeah. And by the time you get that far is to have the print copy, you probably already have the e-copy ready too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One comes with the other generally.
Well, from my understanding, you work towards the ebook, and the print version is just another format of the same thing.
Yeah.
The same file.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you just add your headers and footers is pretty much all you do, and you make the table of contents with internal. I just blanked down the name, but you click on it, and you go directly to that chapter.
Okay, so it'd be like an internal link.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, table of contents. Yes.
Yeah, table of contents. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Carl?
Oh, I misspoke a while ago. I have 3 books on Amazon through Lulu. Donna has 8 books that are available on both platforms. So
Donna's like, I do?
Yeah, she's doing good. She's doing good.
She'll have 10 before the end of the show.
I know.
They're multiplying.
Hey, I've got an anthology from Lulu that is listed on Amazon, but it seems to be somebody is buying the print copies and selling them as if they were Gutenberg Bibles. I mean, the prices are overinflated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
some
have
of that is
seen
print cost.
I have seen a $12 ebook or $12 print book, magazine size, listed on Amazon, one of mine, for $170.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that too.
I was gonna say, if you go to eagleresortbooks.com, you can find Warrior Secret for $34. Like, well, for $34, I'll sign it for you.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'll charge you $34 if you'd like.
You know, for $35, I'll handwrite the story and give you a copy.
There you go. Yeah.
I've got a book that retails on Amazon for $7.50. There are a couple of websites that are selling it for about $55. For that price, I will drive the book to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hand
ridiculous.
deliver.
Can
And if
deliver.
you
Will.
point it out, a lot of times people will say something negative about you or to you, and it's like, just trying to save you some money. That's all. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll sell them copies of Conflict for half what they're asking for. I'll give them a 50% discount. That's how fair I am.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got Lulu. We went over Ingram Spark and Draft to Digital.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing anything else?
Kobo. Kobo does that too. Smashwords is solely ebooks, but they have a lot of advantages over Amazon in that it's easier to do promotions. You can actually make gift coupons where you can't do that anymore through Amazon. And you determine what the percentage is. It's anywhere from like 1% to free. You know, if you have a giveaway or something, you can also put a time limit on it. And they're like Ingram Spark in that they're really persnickety about the formatting aspect of it, but that is to make sure that your book looks good.
Right.
So,
well, that's good.
Yeah. And I've met the guy that runs it. He's a sweetheart. He is really passionate about us succeeding as authors. And I believe Draft to Digital may own Smashwords now.
Yes, there was some sort of contract deal, and I think it went through just the other day. And Draft to Digital is one where if it's brand new to you and you're not sure what to do, they have got a ton of videos on YouTube. And they're always doing new ones. They're always doing new live chat. And in a live chat, they will answer your questions.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really like the guys there. So, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, so as an author, you think, okay, well, I have my books here. Or I have my books here, here, and here. Should I move them? Should I put them somewhere else? And the only answer I've ever come up with is, sure, do what you want. Whatever works for you. If you find a business model that works, and they're selling great on Ingram Spark, fine. Stay with that. You know.
Well, and also a number of writers I know go solely on their ebooks with Amazon. One, because it's less bookkeeping, less to keep track of.
Right.
And secondly, you get like little perks if you are exclusive with Amazon, such as if somebody picks up your book to read through Amazon Prime or Kindle Direct, you still get paid for the amount of the book that they read. So if they read only 10 pages, you get paid for a percentage of that 10 pages, and they have various competitions and stuff. It's
Does that work with repeat reading as well? Somebody reads your book 3 or 4 times, do you get paid over and over again?
That's a good question, Dan. I honestly don't know.
I was going to say nobody's been able to answer that question.
I would. My first cynical guess would probably be no.
Right. But maybe because they count page flips, and that's the other thing.
Yes.
As a reader, I didn't know this, but if you have a Kindle or a Nook or any kind of tablet that you read on, as you flip that page for that ebook, if it doesn't look like a real book flipping a page, the author only gets a penny for that whole book. If it looks like a page that flips, you get a cent per page flip.
Yep.
That's
How would a reader know that?
Only when somebody else got screwed and asked Amazon. And good luck trying to get through.
That's how I found out was some other author got screwed, and they were like, "Hey guys, I just found this out. Tell your readers, tell everybody.
Yeah.
Hunter
Because, of
has a
course, Amazon's
question.
not going to fix it.
Go into your Kindle settings and make it
Yep.
actually physically
Look like
do
a
the
page.
animation
Look that way,
of
yeah.
page flipping. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
yeah. And it's a very small thing that doesn't cost the reader anything for the reader to help the author.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Now that's only if it's Kindle or Nook. If you buy the book like an ebook, you've already bought it. So that's
Right.
Because I don't particularly
Yeah,
care
that's
for page flip
the
myself. I
programs
just
that actually do pay you for page flips.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So and Kindle has that. Well, Amazon has that, but I don't know exactly what they call it because it's never interested me to get
Yeah.
paid per page.
Mhm.
And yes, Hunter, this is it was audiobooks it started with. I think they fixed the audiobook problem.
That's what I've been told. Yes.
Right. I don't have them, so I don't know. But
Same here.
ebook is now the problem. And there's a petition going around that you can sign. I don't know what good it will do, but we can try. And that's all we can do.
And they did change the audiobook policy
and
after
so
being
maybe there's
pushed.
a chance they'll change the ebook policy.
Mhm.
Because I
Yeah,
know Barnes and Noble, yes, they have a policy where once you've bought it, you've bought it.
Yeah.
Because they can tell you've flipped through that sucker and you've read it. You read the book, you keep it. Ta-da! I don't know why if Barnes and Noble can do it, Amazon can't do it.
yeah.
I think it's Amazon won't do it.
Yeah, it's not a matter of can or can't, it's won't.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's surprising that a company that is so I don't want to say greedy, but money conscious, okay, would allow anybody to return something for credit or money that they're cutting throats there.
I was going to say,
Especially if it's not a physical object.
yeah.
It's an ebook.
Yeah.
Once you bought it,
Yeah. Like
that's it. That should be the end of it right there.
Well, and part
Exactly.
of this big shindig right now is because on TikTok, people have said it's okay because authors make billions of dollars anyway.
Yeah.
Cue the uproarious
Don't stick your ear out,
laughter.
man. Yeah. Like
I'm glad I wasn't a mid-swallow when you said that.
Yeah.
On TikTok is that it's okay because authors make billions anyway. Fuck
You
the
can
authors,
tell
screw the
whoever
authors.
organized this is not a writer.
No, not at all.
No.
And then some of these authors have said, listen, I understand being short of cash. I get it, especially these days. Go to your library.
Yeah.
Libraries are online these days. You can get ebooks. You can get audiobooks right from your library. Those you already pay for with your tax dollars.
Yeah.
And then at least I get a nickel.
Yeah. And even then, the writers will get paid because somebody bought that book.
Yeah.
So you're helping all the way around. And the more that somebody checks a book out, the more likely the library is to buy more copies of that book. Because some libraries will buy multiple copies of one book, and it's just all kinds of good benefits for the author.
Another point is if somebody is checking out a particular writer's book over and over and over again, next time that writer's name comes up on their little catalog list that they're trying to buy from, they'll be going, oh wait, this guy's getting lots of reads, so let's put a shelf up here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and here's the ultimate thing that some of the readers aren't understanding. Okay, guys, you want free books, and free books. We can't afford to be at home and write those books. So we all had to go get jobs and we stopped writing books. Now where are you going to get your books?
Yeah.
That's the be all end all of it. If we all have to stop writing because we can't afford to be home and write books. But it's one of those, this world is so big. You feel like, how do you make a ripple in a puddle?
Yeah, really. I love writing, but I do like to eat too.
I do, yeah.
That's one of my hobbies.
I think
hobby.
I think this kind of all started back in the day when the free music thing started.
Yeah.
People wanted to get free music, and they thought like these big bands, that were famous, that were getting all kinds of money from records and tours and all these things. And they thought, I want to download free music. These guys have enough money.
Yeah.
And I think that the same mentality has now shifted over to authors because they think that most authors are making a lot of money.
Oh, heck yeah.
That is not the case for most of us that are independent, at least.
It's the absolute smallest minority of writers that's making big money off of writing.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For everybody else, if you've gone with a big name publisher, they're the ones pocketing the money.
Yes, I was going to say, even with a big name publisher,
Yeah.
unless your name is big, they're not marketing for you. Look how many thousands of authors write for Penguin Random House. How many of them have you heard of?
Yeah, exactly.
One, maybe two, depending on the genre that you read.
Well, in the entertainment media has not helped any, because every time they have a writer on a TV show or a movie, the writer's got champagne, they've got fancy cars, they've got
They live in
fancy
big
houses
in the middle of nowhere.
They're traveling all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All over because I got to sell some damn books.
Yes. Putting miles on Calgon, yes.
Exactly.
Hanging out in cheap hotels is not the millionaire lifestyle.
Right.
You think it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to the dentist office and selling 3 books.
Yeah.
Well, we do okay, but it's because I have a pension.
Well, and
I worked for 45 years,
Yeah.
And so, that's how we're able to sit here smoking our cigars and all. It's not through writing, because if it was through writing, I might be able to buy a couple boxes of really good cigars with all the money I've made throughout the years in writing.
Yeah. If I put together all the money that I have ever made from writing or even from my music, I could probably buy a 12-pack, maybe a case of beer. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't do that because I'm still on the red.
Yeah. And I can't afford government cheese.
See, that's the thing. Like,
Casa Velveeta, yes, I know it well.
Yeah. I had somebody say,
good cheese.
You're so lucky you get to go to all these book signings and these cons, and you're always out and about doing stuff. And like, yeah, I am. I'm very, very lucky. But it's not because of my books yet. Yeah. And I refuse to say it's not because of my books without putting yet on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still going and I still have a path. And I'm not yet where Carl and Donna are, where they're like, if it sells good. If it doesn't, I just like to write my stories, Yeah. Me, I'm trying to eke out a little living from it, a little fame from it,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the one thing is, we've got so much potential because I can remember a time when Stephen King wasn't Stephen King, when he was writing articles for men's magazines and such. And everybody has to start somewhere, and that was one of the things that got me about electronic publishing when I heard about it 10 years ago. I mean, I knew all about traditional publishing. I was looking for any sort of shortcut, and this was it, which led to print on demand and the whole situation with publishing as we know it today. And like I've told people from the webinar I heard just one time, the place I was with had it only one time, and I always ask myself, what if I'd missed it? Where would I be?
Yeah.
And but the thing is that this has so much potential, and that's all I saw due to the technology democratizing the publishing and editing and writing process. So I firmly I keep telling people, bring Cookie home. My hashtag is bring Cookie home. I firmly believe I can do it, and it gets better every year. But I work at it.
And another thing for new writers, authors coming up in the ranks, don't forget to look at things like business marketing, business management. Yes, you're a writer. Yes, you're an author, or even an artist or creative of any sort. You're still running a business.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of these guys on YouTube that talk about, hey, here's how I did it. Here's how I got to where I am. Now, they're not authors, or they weren't when they started. Some of them have written books since. But that's not their main focus. Like some of them are motivational speakers for a living. That's what they do. Some of them had other careers and now they do it. Some of them, you know, they're just high achievers in whatever it is that they do. Heck, there's one girl I follow. She's a rodeo star. She barrel races horses, but she is at the top of her game and she makes millions because she won't quit.
Yeah.
It's not that her horse is the best. It's not that she's the best. And she will tell you this. It's that she's focused, she's driven, and she's always looking for what's next, what's better, how can I be better, how can I do better, what can I bring in and surround myself with that's the best of the best of the best, and who can I learn from?
That's key. That's key to making it in this business is find, you know, when I was used to be in the Amway Corporation and I was in a good leg of it because they were telling us solid business practices that I'm now using, thank goodness. And one of the things they said was find somebody who's 5 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
And then try to, you know, pick their brain, emulate what they do. And, you know, granted, not everybody's situation is the same and nothing in this business is cookie cutter and guaranteed, but it gives you at least some plan that you can follow where maybe in 5 years you will be where they are, or at least you'll be closer to where they are. And then you look at where they are at that 5 years. And if what they did worked, you keep trying it. So until things change.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to change.
Exactly.
Because they're going to change. They're going to follow what's next, what's going on, what, you know, and not everybody is going to have the advice for you. Because I've watched multiple different, we'll call them motivational speakers. We'll just lump them in that term. And some of them you think, man, this guy's out of his mind. And because a lot of them, for writers and artists, I can't make the transition from, okay, let's go, to, okay, let me sit down in front of my computer and write a love scene. That's not going to happen.
Let's go. My heart is
racing. I can't sit still. Like, how am I supposed to sit down and write now? So there's got to be a difference. There's got to be, and that's kind of why I started my morning motivations, is because, like, there's got to be something different besides, like, holy crap and tornado sirens and, okay, sit down, calm down, and now write a book. What?
Yeah. There was something that you had said this morning, Michaela, during Brian's show. Never mind the furthermore, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And
checks in the mail, Carl.
I had said that, and of course you were probably tuning me out at that point, but that's okay. Go ahead and celebrate the little things. Okay, like I wrote some words today. Yay me! Have a piece of cake. That's great. Save the champagne for when you're done with the book. Okay. And think about the forest, not just the trees, because you are more than just that chapter. You are more than just that book, hopefully. You know, some people will only write one book. That's cool. But you'll probably write more than one. The more that you do, the more that chance that you'll sell at least one of those books at some time. It takes time and effort, and sometimes an investment of money. That's why Donna was in the red. She's got a whole bunch of books out, and she's bought multiple copies of each book to take to shows. I'm sure Brian's in the same boat, and probably Dan too. And I know Michaela has a big rack of books she takes out there.
Yes,
and that's an
racks.
Yeah. Well,
I went through my complimentary copies from the publisher years ago. So if you see me at a convention selling a book, I had to buy that sucker and pay the shipping to me to give it to you.
Well, and we still do, Dan. Now I get them at a cut. You get the author cost, which is the print cost, but you still have to pay for shipping, which, you know, like, so by the time that you pay for the book, ship it to your house, then pay for your table to go to a con or book signing or wherever, and then all the travel, there went all your profit.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, that when people see you out and about and you've got all these books, and they're like, oh, you're a famous author. I might be famous, but it doesn't mean I'm rolling in dough.
Right.
Yeah, and we may be just more famous than the person talking to us.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm so famous, tell me my name without reading the sign on the table.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the thing about investment and making mistakes. Okay, this is the newest one. Okay, this was my proof copy. Okay, there's the back. Is there something wrong?
Oh, I'll give you the
yes, good, because you told me, but I haven't seen.
I told Brian about this.
Yes.
Okay. No, you don't need the big screen for this.
All right.
No, it's glaring actually.
Here, in fact, I'll turn it upside down.
Oh.
Okay. Is there something wrong with this book? If I'm going to sell it online.
Oh, there's no barcode. There's no
barcode. There's no ISBN.
Mm-hmm. I had accidentally hit, and you can do this on Lulu. I'm not sure how Amazon, Ingram handle it, but I could say, mark this for private. Okay. So only I can buy a copy. And that's what I accidentally did one early morning when I'm half asleep. Okay. Not enough coffee.
Michaela's motivation.
maybe.
But that can be changed, right?
That has been changed now. I went back in and I thought, I don't see it online. So I had to go back in and say, okay, now I want to publish it wide, put it out there, put it on the Lulu store, put it everywhere. And they said, okay, would you like to buy a proof copy? I'm like, I already bought one. No, because when I put the ISBN number in it, it became edition number 3.
Oh.
So, yeah. So not only did I have to buy the book, I had to pay shipping on it twice. So now, knowing though that it looks good inside and everything else, the only addition was the ISBN. I said, while you're doing that, add another 20 to my order because I'll save a little shipping.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But this is why we always get a proof copy first.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Proof copy.
Yeah. I have one book that I got my proof copy back. I had to do a page 1 rewrite on the book because I found so many errors. Unfortunately, it was a short book, Conflict.
Oh, good.
It was only about 40 pages, but there was things that I'm reading the story and like I needed to put this in, I need to put that in, and so I just took it offline. And for those, following up on what Carl's, I redid it, resubmitted the file, got everything in order, and then I ordered another proof copy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just to make sure, it's
right, not a box of 30, just a proof copy.
Right, and when you're publishing, you've got to be a belt and suspenders kind of person. You want the redundancy system, and it is one thing. I actually talked to some authors who refuse to buy a proof copy, and then they get all bent out of shape when all kinds of errors that they could have caught pop up. And I tell them that it's not an expense; it's an investment.
Yeah.
And if you price yourself, you price it accordingly. You'll, with a couple of regular book sales, you'll make up what you would have lost, not done the return from in those proof copies. It's worth it. It is so worth it.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't even put the cost of the proof copy into my figurines because I'm like that. I bought that personally for myself. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It's just the cost of doing business, really.
It is.
And what an investment, because you can, flip it up during shows and things like that. So.
And it's a collector's item. When you're dead, you can your descendants can auction it off for much higher prices. Hey, this is not a regular version. This is an exclusive, one-off.
The author's copy,
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
One thing I ran into back when I was in college, I bought a book of Roger Dean art, just paintings and stuff.
Nice.
It turned out that 30 pages of the book had not been bound in the copy that I bought.
Ooh,
really?
I took it back, and they complained to the people that sold them the book, and they got a little bit inconvenience fee back and a whole new box of books that actually had the missing pages bound in.
Awesome.
And I got a free copy to
Hmm.
replace the damaged one, which I had to give them back.
Nice. Nice.
You know,
Yeah, see,
but
that is a
it
reason.
happens. It happens with major publishers.
Mhm.
They sometimes somebody will leave something out or screw something up. Look at Ted's books there, where the pages were flipped on the short side instead of the long side. Half of the pages were upside down when the book got bound.
Oh, Lord.
I've
Yeah.
never seen that before, ever.
I had a friend who got a book from Amazon. His the pages like chapter 1 would be correct, chapter 2 would be printed upside down, 3's correct, 4 was upside down. It's like alternating chapters, and that's why
Weird.
I don't know how this could have happened. And a lot of errors happened when they got rid of CreateSpace, which, for viewers out there, is the former side of Amazon that printed the physical copies of the books, as opposed to Kindle Direct Publishing, which did the e-version of the tomes. And, in that process, when Amazon would carry the files over from CreateSpace to KDP, a bunch of errors were popping. I was reading online with some of my friends, and they were incensed at all of the stupid printing errors. And that's why a proof copy is essential, because you want to catch these errors before readers do.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
I went through that with my music CDs when I was going through the Amazon CreateSpace.
Right.
I had to get proof copies to check and see if it sounded the same on a CD player as it did from my computer that I did the mixing on.
Right.
And there was one that I had to buy 3 proof copies because the first one was way too loud and the sound was distorted. The second one was way too quiet and you could not turn a stereo up high enough to hear it.
Oh, wow.
The third one was just right.
I was thinking 3 Little Bears here.
That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly. Exactly. But those 3 proof copies saved me from getting a bad reputation as being somebody that was not paying attention to production values.
Exactly. Truth.
Yep. Yeah.
Michaela, does anybody here know? Does Barnes and Noble still have a Barnes and Noble press? I know they do the Nook, but do they printed books?
They don't print, as far as I know. No.
Okay.
They just carry ebooks, I think.
They just carry ebooks and
right
print
back.
books. Okay.
I know at one time they were talking about doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know if that fell through, and it seemed like it was right about the pandemic. So maybe because of that they put everything on hold.
Yeah.
Well,
because I reached out to the store when they were doing like author night, and since my book is available through them, I was like, hey, I'll go to my local one and do author night. Well, the pandemic hit, and then so I waited, and when things started to calm down a little bit, I called, and he was like, yep, we don't even have our calendar going back yet, but when we do,
yeah.
So he's got my name on the list, but it's again like I'm at the bottom because there's so many people in front of me. So it'll be something I'll have to call and say 6 months or something and say, hey, how's that going?
Yeah.
Well, we have the same thing with our local Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, and I've never done it in a bookstore, so for me, it'll be a whole brand new, fun thing to do.
From what I've heard, book signings in bookstores are not that profitable, but you need to do it because you need to get your face out there.
It's the PR. It's not the sales. That's what I say to the new kids when they go to a signing or a con or a bookstore. Don't go there to sell, or don't go there thinking that you'll sell out and everybody's going to love you, and be prepared for nobody bought my book. Yeah. And then when they do buy your book, it's woo! Somebody bought my book. All right, now I'm excited. Yeah. I didn't expect that.
The thing about personal appearances that I have found, and I'm counting conventions too, is that I have to be interesting enough for people to go, hey, if he's this much fun in person,
What are his books
Let
like?
me read one of his books and see if it's as good. Yeah, I'm selling myself.
Yes.
Yeah, we are the product.
The books
We
will
are the
follow.
product.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
Michaela is very good at that. Let me tell you.
Yeah, she is.
I try.
Yeah.
That's one reason for my pen name. My real name, I would not be able to do it. It's. I know it's psychological, but it's a thing. So if I give myself a pen name, I give myself a persona. That persona can be outgoing, can host a YouTube live, can go to a book signing and be like, "Hey, I love your purse. Hey, I love your boots. What's going on? How are you doing?" The other person, no. Let me stand in the corner and be not noticed. I'm good.
Yeah, I attended a comic book convention in Indianapolis right after I moved here, and they had like about half a dozen book writers there, and each and every one of them looked like their hearts would burst if you made direct eye contact with them.
Yeah. Don't come near. I'm going to hide behind my book stack.
That's the Art Garfunkel effect. You know, he looks like he would cry if you looked at him hard.
Yeah,
he's just so sensitive. Yeah, luckily for me, I've got this on-off switch where I can flip between introvert and extrovert on demand, and it's not necessarily my demand, but yeah, that's the only reason I'm able to do this. That's the only reason I'm able to be on panels at a convention or sit at a vendor's table. I didn't go so far as to have a nom de plume, but there is an alternate persona, which protects the meek and sensitive and scared of everything me from the big bad world.
Well, and I worked in customer service for most of my working career. And my teenage girls will tell you it's scary when I turn on the customer service voice. They're like, you are a totally different person. And I said, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, Mom, when you answer the phone and you're in your customer service mode, that's a different voice than you give us. I'm like, no, it's not. I finally had to catch it. Yes, it is.
Yeah. We all do that to a certain extent. We have different personas, like tonight, I'm the Zen, calm, experience. But, you see me on Brian's show, I'm a different kind of person.
Yeah.
Right?
You see me in another venue, which some of you have, I'm a different person there. So, yeah, it's all Carl, but there's different Carls. And
it's almost like you can tune yourself to the room.
Yeah, you have to. I constantly talk about me, but not me.
Yes.
That's the person that puts on the fez and the bow tie and starts talking with their hands like they're waving in a jet. But you all have encountered me in real life. You know that there's a lot of overlap between the two, but I'm not exactly the same in private among my friends as I am.
Because
behind the table
you're
with
comfortable, you can kick back, you can not worry about the public persona.
Yeah, the real Brian swears a lot more. So.
And Cookie gets a whole different version of you than anything we've seen.
That's more the whimpering and begging for mercy kind of thing. Yeah, it's a good observation, Dan.
And then there's me, who's always so meek and mild.
Oh yeah,
you betcha.
Only on my.
I'm glad I wasn't trying to drink a beer right there.
Yeah. I have a question.
Having to buy a new monitor and keyboard. Shit.
I've got a question for Donna. Does it hurt when your nose grows like that?
No.
Ooh, this is not the green room. Don't do that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about going to conventions.
Lie to me.
I'm sorry. Talking about going to conventions. Do you think it would pay for a beginning writer? Someone who only has one book out. Do you think it would pay for them to team up with another beginning writer to get the table together so you have more than just one title on the table?
It depends.
Okay.
I think they would do better to team up with another writer who has several books.
Well, and that's why I'm going to say it depends, because now our friend Keisha, who has one book out right now, when she and I were at the same table, It's fine. And she's learning from me how to approach people and things. And she's very shy in person. But the other thing I'll say is I've taken Linda's books with me, and Linda writes strictly historical Western. Now, if I display that in a certain way and people see mostly Westerns, they won't even read that banner behind me that says fantasy romance or historical romance or whatever. They won't even read that. They'll see the cowboys on the front of the books, and that's it. They're like, oh, Westerns. Okay. So I've learned if you do pair tables, you got to be ready for, is it the same sort of stuff that you write or is it different? So now that I'm bringing Linda's books with me, I have to display it differently.
Okay.
But also you're talking about two authors with several books.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now, like with Keisha, it was super simple. She got to see what I did. She got to be with somebody so she wasn't alone. And she got to ask me after a customer would walk away, how did I do? What could I improve on? So yeah, absolutely. If it's a new kid, yeah.
But the two new kids, I'm thinking that's a little too much newness. They need somebody with them who knows what's going on.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's why I ask. Yeah.
No, it's a valid question. I agree with Donna completely that I think somebody, and I don't even know that it's more the matter of, one person having like a multitude of books versus somebody with one. I think two people could have like, two their own books there in front of them, but I think one of them needs to have some mileage under their wheels to help the other person and bring them up to their level. I've got a friend in Iowa who, actually a couple of them, they did rather well with one book on their table, but then of course you have to dress the table to make it look more full. Like when when this was the only physical book I had, I was doing shows, I was selling a few of them, but I wasn't doing too well until I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought one. It was Halloween. I bought one of those styrofoam Frankenstein heads and I painted it and put a Christmas hat on it.
Yeah.
So then I had something visual that people could latch onto, and some people put like candy on their table. Amy Hale is one of the best at dressing her table. She has like these little swirly fortune teller globes that swirl inside of it's
usually
very
got a jewelry display, so when you buy books you get jewelry. So I've even had my newsletter sign up. You want that? That's another thing. When you're new, you may not have a newsletter. That's okay. Let them know, hey, I'm here at I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on whatever.
Well, that's like when
out, so you don't forget to say it, but just lay it on the table, and they'll say, "Oh, you've got an Instagram. I'll follow you there."
That's like when Carl and I went to Peoria. For the both of us, yes, that was our first time at a bookstore, but we both had worked in customer service before. I waited tables through college. He's worked in a restaurant also. We had that experience behind us to make up for having never done it before. And so, as a waitress, especially one in some of the restaurants I talked to, like truck drivers and construction workers, I know how to chat up people.
I had a construction worker buy my entire set of books just because I talked to him. Now, will he read them? Probably not. Do I care? No. I sold those books. I don't care.
He can buy it for the glue that holds the pages together.
Right.
Make a sale. What the hell?
And then he may surprise you and give you a whole series of the best reviews you've ever had.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I couldn't miss that chance. I had to talk to that person.
Yeah.
And maybe he bought them for a gift.
Yeah.
Right.
That could be. Yeah.
Why not?
Was it here we were talking about salesmanship and I was talking about ask for the order?
I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
Probably.
Okay. It was about 2 weeks ago, if I remember.
Okay. I can't remember yet.
I've watched a YouTube video. I should write their names down of the people that I watch. But this one Grant Cardone, I think is his name.
Okay, yeah.
So if you get a second, look him up. He's one that really opened my eyes lately. And I've been doing new stuff as far as sales. New things are happening and sales are happening. Ooh, lo and behold.
Good.
Hey.
So one of the things that he mentioned is when you're in sales, you want to be a closer. What that means is you close the deal. So he had this deal happening, and this guy was going to buy some property. And the guy says, well, let's meet on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Wednesday at 2 o'clock rolls up. The guy walks through the door, and Grant says, okay, let's make this deal. Sign here. And the guy was like, well, we haven't even talked. And Grant's like, you wouldn't have come here if you weren't already going to buy the property. Sign here.
Yeah.
End of conversation. Don't let him hem and haw and think about it. No. Buy here.
You wouldn't have come back to the table if you weren't ready to buy the book.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I carry author cards with me, and around town I'll put my phone number and say, go to lulu.com. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you like what you want, text me. I'll make you a deal and save you shipping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that recently at a restaurant, and the lady took the card and she says, yeah, I really like creepy stuff. And then she walked away. And
that's my card.
Carl's like, that's what my book is about. Why didn't you tell her? And I'm like, you're sitting right there. I'm selling my books. You should have shown me.
Yes. And that is how you do it.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes. So
That's
with
funny.
tonight's broadcast, I wanted to make sure that we let the kids know, or the younger ones, or the ones coming up the ladder, Amazon is not the be all end all. It just isn't.
Yeah.
No.
It's that whole don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm. True.
It's just the big thing right now.
Well, and it is.
Yeah.
And there's always another big thing coming.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things coming in response to Amazon's lack of customer service, which is what they built their entire reputation on, making things easier to buy, but they're not making things anymore easier for us to produce is the thing. Like I keep saying, 3 years ago, I'd have said, Create Space and Kindle Direct Publishing, they both worked exceptionally well. Their customer service was unparalleled, and then they merged the two up for whatever reason, and both sides of the equation went to hell, as far as I am concerned.
Yeah.
If it improved, that would be another difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, what impressed me with Drafts to Digital was I was having a problem. I had already uploaded Warrior's Worth a while back, and I went to distribute it wide with them, and it was showing that I didn't have a manuscript. But I had it for my other book. I'm like, all right, what the heck is up? And I didn't want to redo it because then that would be a brand new book.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them thinking, okay, I'll call this customer service number and I ain't going to get a person. Oh, no, not only did I get a person, I got a person that spoke perfect English that I could understand. Now, that might sound horrible, but I'm in America. I speak English. If I were in New Delhi, I'd want someone that spoke like that. But here I am. I need someone that speaks like me. My hearing is not the best. So this guy was articulate, and he answered the phone on the second ring. I didn't wait on hold, nothing. He walked me through everything. And he was like, no, it's easy. Here, I'll look at this and I'll look at that and I'll fix this. And I don't know what happened, but I'm really sorry about that. 10 minutes later, my book was wide.
Cool.
Dang, okay. Now, will that change in the future? Maybe. But until then, I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to stick with it for a little while.
Sure. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not well versed in Lulu like Carl and Donna are, and I'm not well versed in Ingram Spark. I don't use them. I don't know.
Right.
My next book will come through Ingram Spark.
Okay.
So, and I'm hoping to get that out by July.
Yeah. Trial by fire.
Yeah.
Michaela, before we go, last time we talked about sending in a news story to a newspaper. And you did it.
I did.
You did.
Yay.
Proud of you.
Good
Thank
girl.
you. So here's what happened. And it's not a bad thing. So don't think I'm saying it that way. If you watch my morning motivation videos, I was kind of down, but it's one of those, okay, so they didn't take my story. But the only reason they didn't take my story was because the newspaper was not the correct newspaper. We get a newspaper that is an offshoot of a bigger newspaper because of where we live.
Okay.
And he was like, for your newspaper, we don't. Now, had I lived 2 towns over, perfect. He'd have taken my story. He loved it.
Okay.
He says, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send it to the Peoria Journal-Star and see if they would like it.
Very nice.
I was like, okay, that's not technically my hometown, but it's close, and it's the closest big city I've ever lived to. And so, yeah, it was good, but it was also like, oh, bummer.
Well, also, too, you had some reservations because you weren't sure you wanted people in your hometown to know about this.
I would have gone towards like Bloomington. And for me, there's some people in Bloomington that I think in my head, I think they would judge me because I'm not to the level they are in their careers.
Okay. So this going to the other newspaper is going to negate what you were feeling. It's going to go out to people that you know aren't going to judge it.
No, not necessarily.
Anita. How did we know it was Anita?
It's in the way they type.
I know.
Yeah.
Love you, Anita.
Recognize that hand.
Right.
So,
hi, Anita. I'm talking to you.
He sent my article to is more of my hometown than Bloomington.
And it's a larger population, so you're getting exposed to more people.
Well, and then there's the news channel that does the spotlight of people in the community. I haven't done that yet, but
you're going to.
Yeah, I'm going to. It's
yes
on the to-do list.
Actually, you won't have to worry about it because you've got great presence. But when I started doing this, and a number of people were saying you need to get on like that 5 minutes in the morning during the Today Show or Good Morning America. They said, but like if you lived in Peoria, you should send your application to say Cedar Rapids or to Champaign, because if you're going to get your practice in and you're going to stink at this, you need to do it not near your home base.
Yes.
There's something to be said for that.
Is okay, I send my book off to the Washington Post or the New York Times newspapers because they will review your book and that if is huge.
Oh, yeah.
It's if it makes it through all of their people. If it doesn't, it goes onto a book rack, like a wheelie cart. It stays in their office until somebody picks that book up and either reads it, takes it home, reads it, put it back, someone else reads it. Like, how is that a bad thing?
Right.
Yeah.
People
we picked up this new book by Mary Shelley, another big author.
Yeah.
How's that bad? And people will say, well, that's you spent the cost and the time and you got nothing out of it. Well, bull. I might have got a review. I got more people that know my name and know my books, and now maybe they'll go look up my other books.
Yeah.
So it's never wasted effort.
Yeah, and advertising anyway is not a precise art. Ask anyone that takes out Amazon ads.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So. I did Google ads.
Yeah, and I've done Facebook ads too, and
and I'm still here.
It's hit or miss. Oh yeah. I haven't given up yet either. So.
Well, keep going.
Facebook ads.
Yeah. Of course, I'm trying a different tack now. Get nominated for an award. So even though I've been like, I don't need an award, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah. Because it gives you something that you can say to someone that doesn't know you at all.
Right.
It kills me because some of these awards that authors get are just from one book signing or another. But you can say, I won an award, and then the average reader is like, oh, award-winning author. Okay, she must write some great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but technically that award wasn't all that in a bag of chips.
Well, I said for years.
Here's one for you. When my Spaceport Bar book came out, somebody read it, that was a WorldCon member. And they nominated it for J.W. Campbell Award, which is one step down from a Hugo.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I could put that on all my book covers, a J.W. Campbell Award nominee.
Yeah.
I would, Dan, do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do with this thing, the book
Yeah.
story I'm nominated for. From this point on, I'm a Pulp Factory Award nominee. You know, even if I don't win the thing. So you know, look at the Oscars. Oscar nominee, Grammy nominee.
When I do my comedy book, well, I'm gonna put on my comedy book, you know, that I was voted the most likely to have to leave the country in a hurry.
Well, how long have I been an award-winning playwright? You know, that was a BS award for not murdering a director, but I'll take it.
Yes.
Hey, it works.
Well, that's like until I got into this book stuff, I didn't realize that a New York Times best-selling author, when that phrase is on that book, it doesn't mean that book sold that many copies. Right. It means the author at one time or another sold that many copies one time.
Yeah.
May not have been on that book, may have been on another book, but they can put it on this book too.
And I've got a screen capture. One of my books was #1 in its genre on Amazon for 4 hours.
Awesome.
Yay!
Hey, I will take
it. Counts. It counts.
It counts, my God. I don't think I'm not. You know, one of these days I'm going to cart that thing out and polish it and put it on all my advertising. You know, because that in itself is, you know, not a bad thing.
I should pull up the hit counter from the old days on Apelian about the Spaceport bar stories. We had a hit counter at one time just before we scrapped the darn thing. 10 million people had read at least one of those stories.
There you go.
Oh, dude, why are you not? It's like,
hey,
that is something to brag
when
about.
I put the book out, guess how many copies I sold?
Yeah.
You start charging money for something they were used to getting online for free.
I got one.
Crickets.
What are you going to do, Nita?
Not you, Nita. Not you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to step away for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
And this time I will shut the
camera. Oh, he's back.
Yay. And check out Raging 2 from from earlier this morning. It was a fun show.
It was a good show. Yeah.
It was. I was the guest and I had a fantastic time. And check out Carl from this morning on Nevermind the Furthermore. He did an exceptional job of not being me. So
he did an exceptional job of being background noise for Michaela so she could write her books.
Yeah.
While he was talking, I got 1,680 words written.
Holy cats.
Oh, yeah. I was like, keep talking, baby. Keep talking.
Need to rent myself out as background noise.
There you go.
That's how my sweet wife sees me, I think, here.
Well, I think it was also advertising the sex, and more sex on your show.
Then you had Brian show up.
While we were doing Nevermind the Furthermore,
continuing the sex theme,
and the Eric Hawkins comes in, and he was also watching both channels, and he said, "Oh, as soon as Brian got there, they lost 5 viewers."
I make things happen.
I'm like, that's not making me feel good here, here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not going to make Brian feel good.
I am not a traitor.
Nita, I know sex sells.
Oh, yeah. She does.
Look at that.
Prove it there.
Oh, Lord. I don't know if we do, Nita. Might be a little too risque.
Wow.
Do we have? Can we use my sticker?
If it's banned in Boston, it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what I keep saying.
I can't believe that.
Bitch, go for it.
I can't believe that one person who read The Seduction of Lily Monroe told me that there wasn't enough sex in it. I'm going, there were at least 2 sex scenes every chapter except the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, when she lost her cherry,
we proven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got
And
you got to start
that's
running
like
out the
with
gate.
with them returning books to
Lord.
Amazon. They were telling people how to write the books. Like, there wasn't enough of this, or there was too much of that, or I didn't like the way the plot ended. Write your own book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're that
If
much,
you know
of
so
an
much.
if you're that much of an expert, why aren't you sitting at the table next to me at the convention trying to sell yours?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Where's your book? Like, yeah, it's just ridiculous these days.
Yeah, it's very complicated in doing reviews because, you know, maybe it's not something that's your cup of tea, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to find something in there. Or if you don't, you say, this wasn't for me,
Mhm.
okay? Or it didn't have enough fight scenes for me, okay?
Right.
Not that it didn't have enough fight scenes or love scenes or whatever, but
Mhm.
it didn't have enough for what I was wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And that helps the other people who read your review to say, oh, okay, well, maybe that guy just likes fight scenes or love
Right.
scenes or whatever. You know, maybe it would be okay for me, you know, because
Well,
I
and
don't
that's-
like fight scenes. You know, so
Right. And some authors have even joked they've gotten reviews that are like a 1 star, and somebody was very upset that there was sex in the book.
Mhm.
And of course, she's talking about how graphic it was, and it was very detailed.
ooh,
And from that review, they got other ones that were like, "Oh, I want this book. This is what I'm looking
Really?
for."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
Bring it.
And that's why
Yeah.
we beg for reviews.
Yeah.
And Nita, I have a new book out. I need to be back on your show.
oh yeah.
There you go.
Hey, me first, okay? Me
Hashtag
first.
always promote.
Good girl. Good girl.
Always be promoting.
I
Yeah.
was just
Yep.
going through the manuscript for the fantasy story now that I'm finished with the Cold War era spice book. I noticed that while I was writing the 2 books at the same time, I actually had people in the fantasy story having sex too. You know, it wasn't just the James Bond guy in the spy book. This is bleeding over here, but it's all in that.
Say hi.
You know what happened, but you don't get to see
Aw.
it.
Say hi.
Hey, little kitty.
With a banner, can I put a picture?
No.
Banner, no. Banner will either be a caption or it'll be a crawl across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
You want to put that in the
If you want a picture, you're going to have to do the share.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I don't have that yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you
I
should
do.
across the bottom next to Lee's
Yeah.
studio.
It
Yeah.
takes about 3 extra steps that you don't think should be there, but it does. work.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking of sharing the image for my book cover, but I haven't done that yet because Carl and I are going to work on that tomorrow.
Yeah.
There
I
you
have
go.
just the background image right now, or the main image.
Yeah, we talked about your book covers because someone said something about book covers during Never Mind the Furthermore Monday, Wednesday, Fridays,
Yeah.
especially next Friday.
Yes.
It's coming Friday, yeah. Finally have a good host on there now. So
Yeah.
tune in.
Yeah, but this
but
time
someone-
I'll be there to harass him.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah, you will
we have
be.
2 good hosts, see? Takes 2 people to replace me.
Oh, I didn't say I was going to host.
but someone had said something about
It's
someone
just gonna
said something
harass.
about bad book covers. You know, he had seen
Yes.
so many indie book covers that were bad, and I was talking about the idea we had spoken about flat covers. You see a
Yes.
lot of covers that are just look flat, and
Yeah.
part of the design is, you know, making the title stand out from the book,
Mhm.
making the picture of your main character or whatever you're putting on as your main
Mhm.
image stand out from the background. You know,
Yep.
and those are skills that you can learn, but you won't find those sometimes in the writing portion of YouTube or something, but you have to go into your drawing program. I use Corel Paint Shop Pro. So I would go to those YouTube videos and watch
Right.
those. And, okay, now how do I do this? How do I do that? And you can learn
And that's
subtle.
exactly what I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
And that's
I
what we're
use
going to look
Photoscape
at.
X.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. It took me a little while. And of course, as a writer, you're like, I should be writing. Well, no, if you're independently published, you should be doing all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then do it
Well,
again.
you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do, your editing, and you don't have to do your cover design. You can find people to help you with that. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a control freak like me, you got to do it all. So
yeah. Well, I found that like what I used to design covers. Here's the glorious result of my ability. It's sad, but I know people who can do it well. But the thing is, I think this is from my playwright days that I need to be able to talk the language. That that I need to be able to explain in as close to something that my collaborator can understand what I am looking for as the publisher, editor, writer, whatever. And asking, so I have a slight bit of familiarity with some graphics programs. I couldn't work Photoshop if the fate of the world depended on it. We're all dead if that's the case. Mm-hmm. But I can do MS Paint though, but that's another thing. Mm-hmm. But actually, I use Paint.net. It's a little better. But but I feel I need to have that common language with a person, so I know just enough to be able to art direct. Mm-hmm. And and it's been working out so far. But like Michaela, the time it would take for me to learn Photoshop, I thought about doing it at the start of the pandemic in 2020, and Cookie said, no, you sit down, you get your butt behind the keyboard, start moving them fingers, and I will learn it. And now she's working for other publishers now, so
there you go.
Yeah. So
it when you're a writer, it pays to be able to multitask and do other things as well, because some of it is going to come in very, very handily, like being able to promote yourself and being comfortable promoting yourself, or at least being able to grit your teeth and do it whether you're comfortable or not.
Mm-hmm. A necessary evil. Yep. And I find that if I'm stuck for words, like I don't feel like writing. Most of the time I'm not stuck for words. I know where my story's going. I just don't feel like writing. Mm-hmm. But I'll go in spurts where I'll write 5,000-6,000 words in a spurt, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm over it. I have to go do something else. Why not do something that is right along with the story, whether it's the book cover design or designing some memes that I can put out or some promotion stuff. I'm still doing book stuff. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm just not writing. Mm-hmm. Nope. And that helps me sometimes get over that hump of, I can't get words down. I have writer's block. No, you don't. No, you don't. No. You know where that story's supposed to go. You know what words you're supposed to put down. You just don't want to.
That's one reason why I am slightly excited about the possibility. I'm going to do it whether it gets used or not. I want to do an oil painting of what I want for the cover art for the fantasy book. I'm going to do the painting whether the publisher decides to use it or not. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to leave blank, not blank space, but unimportant bits where titles and whatnot can cover.
Sure.
Good idea.
Yeah, I haven't done an oil painting in.
Don't tell your age.
almost 30 years was the last time I picked up a paintbrush. My age is 65. I mean, I don't care. Yeah. I got people at work. I just surprised people at work today. They were going, you've been out here how long? I go, well, I started in 1978. And he goes, my mama wasn't even born until 1978. And I'm going, I'm older.
Yeah, sorry for your luck. I'll tell you.
Oh, Lord, no, but I'm getting really excited about picking up a paintbrush again. And it's not going to be something I'm going to drift into as, here's another career for me. I'll be a famous cover artist. No. It's, I'm already a painter. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I see what I want. And we're not going to find this in a very affordable graphics section of cover art that other people have done. Not going to find what I want, so I might as well do it myself.
Bye, Nita.
Bye, Nita.
Night.
We love you, Nita.
We love
we're
you.
about done too anyway.
Yeah, we filled it out.
We covered everything.
Wow.
If there's something like you guys are watching this later and there's a question you have for any of us, leave a comment. We'll get back to it because all of us watch my channel. So, we'll see it.
Yeah.
All right. We will end it here, guys. We will say goodbye.
Night, everybody.
Bye.